Picture this. You're boarding a long-haul flight. You settle into your seat, you've got your bags, and then over the intercom, the pilot's voice crackles through. Hi, I'm your captain for today, so I guess I'll be trying to fly this plane. Heavy exhale. Oh boy. Let's just hope we make it. Sorry. Nope. Open the door. I'm out. What you want in that moment is for the pilot to speak with iron certainty. Good morning. This is your captain. We are cleared for takeoff. Let's have a great flight. The point is, when you speak, you are the captain for that journey. But right now, you are that first guy. You are a background extra in your own life. You are broadcasting a plane crash energy, a frequency of uncertainty that makes everyone around you want to jump out of the emergency exit just to get away from you. I have coached thousands of speakers all over the world, from big tech to small startups. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I used to be exactly like you. I spent years terrified to step on a stage, shaking and sweating, wearing a fake smile like a cheap plastic mask. I know the physical pain of having something to say, but being too afraid to say it. So, here's our contract. I'm giving you 5 specific choices to look confident even when you're not. You're going to stop being the scared passenger and start being the captain. But be warned, there is a hidden danger in standard advice that is currently rotting your progress like a virus. If you don't catch it, you'll be a fraud forever. And if you stay until the end, I'm revealing the Iron Command, the only mental framework that actually turns a coward into a captain. Let's look at the first villain. Fake it till you make it. It sounds heroic, but it's a debt you can never repay. When you pretend to be someone you aren't, your brain creates massive cognitive dissonance. You feel like a spy in your own skin. The more you succeed at faking it, the more terrified you become that the world will find out you're a fraud. You aren't building confidence. You're building a prison of lies. Then there's the mirror talker, the person shouting, "I am a lion" at 6 a.m. This is the affirmation trap. When you tell yourself a lie your brain doesn't believe, it triggers a BS detector. Instead of building certainty, you're literally training your subconscious to stop trusting your own voice. Every time you scream a lie in the mirror, the real you retreats further into the dark. What about power poses? Standing like a superhero for 2 minutes before a meeting. This is a band-aid for a bullet wound. If your inner identity is still the victim, your shoulders might be back, but your eyes will still broadcast fear. It's a physical lie that people sense instantly. It's the shaky pilot wearing a fancy hat. It doesn't change the fact that the plane is going down. We also have the validation junkie. You build your confidence on likes, compliments, and good jobs. This is a dopamine cage. If your confidence is something others give you, they can also take it away at any moment. You aren't a captain. You're a beggar waiting for permission to feel good, and the cage is getting smaller every day. The when-then fallacy is the ultimate delay tactic. When I lose weight, then I'll be confident. When I get the promotion, then I'll speak up. You're chasing a ghost. If you don't fix the internal thermostat now, the external temperature won't matter. You could be the CEO of a billion-dollar company and still feel like a child in a suit that's too big. Next, the motivation high. You watch a 30-second edit of a billionaire and feel like you can conquer the world. It's a chemical spike that lasts exactly until you have to do something difficult. It's junk food confidence. It leaves you more depleted and more insecure once the dopamine wears off. You're addicted to the feeling of progress without doing the work. The comparison trap. You try to be better than the person next to you. This turns life into a zero-sum game where you only feel confident when someone else fails. It's a fragile, ugly way to live. It keeps you in a state of permanent insecurity because there is always someone bigger, faster, or richer. You're measuring your worth by someone else's ruler. Finally, the exposure myth. People tell you to just get out there. But exposure without a framework is just repeated trauma. You go out, you fail, you feel worse, and you retreat further into your shell. This is where most people quit. But remember that iron command I mentioned? We're getting to it. But first, we have to burn the old bridge down. Are you ready to see the truth? Forget feeling confident. That's for amateurs. Real confidence is a reputation with yourself. It's the internal ledger of every time you said you'd do something sudden and actually did it. If your self-reputation is bankrupt, no amount of power posing will save you. You don't need to believe you're a god. You just need to believe you aren't a liar. Your confidence is exactly as high as the pile of kept promises you've stacked up. Stop trying to think positively. Start thinking accurately. Positive thinking is a delusion. Accurate thinking is a weapon. When you walk into a room, don't tell yourself, everyone will love me. Tell yourself, I have prepared for 100 hours, and that is a fact. Confidence isn't a mood. It's a data-driven conclusion. You aren't hoping for a good outcome. You are predicting one based on the evidence. Here is the iron truth that mainstream gurus hate. You shouldn't be confident in things you aren't good at. That's called delusion, and it's how pilots crash planes. Competence is the foundation. If you want to be a confident speaker, be a competent student first. You don't build a house starting with the roof. You build it with the heavy, boring stones of skill. Confidence is just the shadow that competence casts. How do you build that reputation? Through the micro-win loop. You make a promise so small, it's impossible to fail. I will wake up at 7 o'clock. I will say hello to one stranger. Every time you tick that box, you're making a deposit into your confidence bank. You aren't trying to win the war today. You're just trying to win a single, tiny, undeniable skirmish. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the mastery of it. You don't get over rejection. You become immune to it. Think of it like a vaccine. You take a small controlled dose of no until your system stops panicking. When no becomes just another piece of data, you become the most dangerous person in the room. Because you can no longer be controlled by the fear of being disliked. Stop saying, I'm trying to be confident. That implies you're a tourist. Start saying, I am the type of person who does X. This is the identity anchor. When your actions are driven by who you are rather than how you feel, your confidence becomes unbreakable. Feelings are weather. Identity is the mountain. The mountain doesn't care if it's raining. The ultimate power move? Owning your flaws. If you say, I'm nervous, or I'm not the best at this yet, you take the ammunition out of everyone else's gun. You can't be humiliated if you have no secrets. Radical accountability is the iron truth that sets you free. Once you accept your weaknesses, no one can ever use them against you again. Most people enter a room asking, will they like me? This is beggar energy. A captain enters a room asking, do I like them? This is frame control. You aren't there to be judged. You are there to evaluate. When you shift your focus from seeking approval to providing value, the power dynamic flips instantly. You aren't the one being tested. You are the one holding the keys. Failure is only trauma if you don't have a system. After every big moment, ask yourself 3 questions. What was the data? What was the lie I told myself? And what is the promise for next time? This turns every setback into a deposit in your competence bank. You don't lose. You either win or you collect evidence. And evidence is what builds the captain. Here it is. The iron command. The silent sentence you must say before you speak, before you enter, before you act. I am here to make this easier for you. It turns you from a nervous seeker of approval into a generous leader. It overrides your fear because it gives you a mission higher than your ego. Now, go find one small promise to keep in the next 24 hours. Start building your reputation. Your trip is starting. Have a great flight.